This is not a test. This is your emergency broadcast system announcing the commencement of another purge of the BS, sanctioned by the First Amendment. Frustration levels 0 to 100 have been authorized for use during this purge. All weapons are restricted. Government officials have not been granted immunity from the purge of the BS and shall undoubtedly receive the smoke. Commencing at the sound of the gong, any and all BS, especially unnecessary goofiness, will be purged without consequence. Police, fire, and emergency medical services will be available, but they will be busy because they too will be watching the purge of the BS. Blessed be those who have already been victims of some BS. May God be with you all.
We can enter any home we want, and we will not. His wanting is our will on this fine night. Don't force us to hurt you. He's just like a purge. To the standard.
You better find someplace else to go.
I got a wicked sweet tooth tonight. And I want my candy back.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Another Purge of the BS has commenced. Welcome, everyone, for stopping in. Thank you for stopping in. Special shouts to you. Special shouts to Purple Groovy, IMZ, and all of my early birds that's jumping into the chat nice and early on a Saturday night. So we have plenty to purge today, as you can tell, because we live in America. So let's give it a moment here. Let's let the algorithm talk to the people a little bit. Bring them in, so I only got to say this one time. And while we're waiting, make sure you go to Flewte.com, Flewte.com. Download the app, meet me on the Flewte app. All the stuff that YouTube won't let me put up, I can put on the Flewte app. And believe me, it's not raunchy or nothing. It's just YouTube is sensitive. It is what it is, and there's no way around that. So what I had to do was get with some people who had a new app, brand new social media app for real people, not bots and businesses. That's what the Flewte app is. So y'all can check out Flewte.com, or you can go to the Google Play Store and download it yourself. Meet me over there on the Flewte. All right. So anyway, let's see what we got here. Hold up. I gotta bring the volume down. See, I'm on my new mic today, so I've got to stop myself from yelling because the mic's not in front of me, and I'm used to dealing with it that way. So it's all good. So how you guys doing today? How y'all feeling? See if we can get our soundboard on here. There it goes. Let's see if it works first. If we get the soundboard. Oh, and don't forget to hook into the Discord as well. Thank you, Stream Elements, for reminding me of the Discord. So the whole point is, we have been here on the YouTube streets for quite some time. We've noticed some patterns. You gotta be a certain bigness to get all the bigness. We ain't got that big, so in the interim, we have to use other forms of communication in order to be able to talk to the people without so much filtering and suppression. So between Discord and Flewte and Twitch, we got a lot going on because we gotta do it. I tried to work with these people, I did, but my patience, I don't have a lot of it. I just don't. So that's a problem for me. I'm working on it. God's not done with me yet. All right. So let's get into this purge of the BS for the evening, because we are back for yet another one of these. And for you guys that are just coming in, I am the Papa of Purge. I am Hayes, and we are going to bring tonight the usual suspects, but not quite how you think we'll bring them. You know what I'm talking about, these recurring patterns, but they seem to show up in a group of people that may not be expected. So we're going to cover that a little bit tonight, because I got into this argument because of the video I did the other day talking about black crime, right? And I said that it's not really black crime, it's just crime, because if you live in certain areas, you'll get robbed by the people that live in those areas. Like, it's as simple as that. So if you live in an impoverished black area, there's a good chance you'll have a criminal who is an impoverished black person. But if you go to other areas where there's not impoverished black people, but impoverished others, you will also have criminals, and they will be of other races. So the statement that black people commit all the crimes wasn't true, and that's where the debate came from. So we're gonna go into this a little bit tonight. For those of you who are small-minded enough to think that only one race actually is the problem here, when really it's just the way of thinking for a lot of people, that's the problem. And the fact that we think we can segregate it outside of people just being dumbasses, that's where the stupidity comes in. Like, you think if you eliminated all of one race from this populace that would stop crime? No, it wouldn't. So what that means is we need to be focused larger than one particular demographic group, because it doesn't make sense. If you don't even live there, it doesn't affect you like that. So you can only deal with what you can deal with. So that's where the whole argument came in. And you know me, I don't back down for much. I don't. So since people want to talk about it, that's what we're going to talk about it then. We're going to talk about it. So in today's episode, we got a packed show. We got some valets running off with a BMW, I think it was, or a Beamer. or Benz or something like that. Very Ferris Bueller, very entertaining. We're going to get into that. We got some elaborate schemes to use the homeless to take over a Haitian island. That's interesting, but we're going to talk about that as well. And before we get all the way into it, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. But let's get into this purge of the BS for the evening. Now, for those that know about the transitions between scenes, I can't get the transitions to work. And this is supposed to be on Twitch and Facebook, and the two of those are not working right now. So lo and behold, you guys got YouTube tonight. But that's tonight. By Tuesday and Thursday, we will be on all of the forums, and I would ask that you find the ones that are most comfortable for you and make sure that you see us there. I don't want to force everyone to come to YouTube and be advertised all over the place. On some of the other forums like Facebook and things like that, I think, you know what, I'm not even going to say that shit. Everybody's got an advertiser these days. So really the only safe place to go is the Flewte app that I was telling y'all about earlier, which is Flewte. Make sure y'all jump on that early because we are about to stop all of this YouTube BS. But anyway, let's continue with our purge of the BS for the evening because our first story is an interesting story. Very interesting, actually. This is the valet taking a car for a ride. So you guys may remember some years ago, there was this movie called Ferris Bueller's Day Off. And there was these two dudes that when you leave your car, they got their hands on a Ferrari in the movie, right? And in that same movie, most of us felt that we probably would have done the same thing to a degree. Maybe we would, you know what? Yeah, we would have done the same thing because they didn't destroy the car. They just drove it and had a good time with it. So we'll hit that scene. When you hit that scene, you know what? I'm going to play the scene. Why not? You're going to get hit anyway. Not playing with these folks. I'm not playing with them. Which one is it? Here we go. All right. Can you guys see it?
Please? You're gonna give the guy a $5 to watch it.
What guy?
Now, you guys remember this scene here?
Hey.
The look on that dude's face when he saw that car. He knew he was taking it out. And I believe this is what happens in the latter story. So let's basically skip through it so I don't get myself in trouble with the copyright. It's too early.
Relax. You fellas have nothing to worry about. I'm a professional.
Professional what?
Go, man.
So in real life, apparently in real life that really happened. So that's why I had to see that scene because I'm like, yeah, I probably would have done the same. Me, I would have. But let's see what these folks did. Let's see what we got here.
When you leave your car with a valet, you expect it to be safe, but that wasn't the case for a couple who came to Cleveland.
Well, that couple was here for treatment at the Cleveland Clinic when police say a valet worker
hold up. First of all, they were in the hospital. Right off the top, this is a funny story to me. So while these people were in the hospital, you decided to drive their car. Okay.
Their card for a joyride. News 5's Nadine Albusada has the story.
Here we go.
And it was a Mercedes convertible. It was snowing here last night, and he was driving down the highway with the top down.
And it didn't wreck. He didn't wreck it?
No.
It was 1:30 Friday morning when a Newburgh Heights police officer on I-77 South pulled over a Mercedes.
Hey, how you doing? Why are you going that fast, man?
That the officer said was flying.
I had you at 128.
And as he asked more questions,
Where do you work at? Cleveland Clinic.
he quickly learned
Whose car? Where's the was parked?
the driver wasn't the owner of the car.
He was at the Cleveland Clinic. He's a valet parker. And he says to go joyride, to go to the store. He's trying to go back to work.
Through an investigation.
All right, so I'm gonna pause that for a second just to make sure everybody's gotten this together. So an older couple went to a Cleveland hospital for treatment. So they were overnight or whatever. They had to be there for a little bit. While they're inside being treated, this gentleman decides to not only take the car. That's the first thing. That's the first problem, right? No, he drops the top on his joint. He comfortably took this car. He made sure that the seat was exactly how he likes the seat to be. He made sure the mirror was set to his joint. Like, this was his car for them, however many minutes he was driving this joint. The police caught him doing 128. Now, where I live at, 128, you're going to jail. It's as simple as that. At 128 on any road I can think of, highways included, around where I live, you going to jail. If you crack 100 and get pulled over, you going to jail. But this guy is going to jail, and well, you know, we don't know if he goes to jail. We don't. But Purple Groovy, yes, 128. Speeding. Now, here's the real question. How the hell did the police catch you, bro, at $128? Did you slow down? Because you could have probably just punched it and just kept rolling and got back to the job. Parked the car, gone up inside, sat at the counter like nothing happened. Police would have rolled up. Have you seen a guy? I didn't see a guy. I don't know what you're talking about. No, you know what? As a matter of fact, I saw a guy come flying down the road about 5 minutes before you got here. He went that way. But no, this guy got pulled over at 128. So I don't know how fast the cop was going, but it looks like in this picture, the officer directly behind him is in one of those Durangos. And Durangos got a little something up under the hood if they're catching you at a ball 30. So anyway, let's finish the story. I
found out that this valet was not supposed to have the vehicle, not supposed to be taking it out for a joyride.
What model was the car?
It was a Mercedes. I remember that they said it was a $115,000 Mercedes that the victim just paid it off.
Can you blame
Police
him?
say the owner had come from out of town for a medical procedure. He valeted his Mercedes with Town's Valet near the Intercontinental Hotel.
So did your boss give you the okay to do this?
No, sir.
Little did he know that a 19-year-old employee working the overnight shift would take it to get lunch at Rallies. And on his way back to work, he got detoured.
It was a circumstance that he would never have came through here. He went to go get on 90, but the state patrol had it closed off for construction. He got rerouted and came through Newburgh. He had no clue where he was at.
The good news,
But why was he doing 130 if he didn't know where he was at? You know what? This is the stupidity of a 19-year-old. You're in a $115,000 car. It's not yours. You're doing 130 miles per hour with the top drop in the wintertime, but when it's cold. And you're going in the wrong direction. Not even on the road you're supposed to be on. He was hotballing. All I needed to hear after this was the smell of marijuana line when they got to the car. We smelled marijuana because they always say that one, right? This dude was just stupid. All right, well, let's see what kind of time he's going to do because he's just stupid. The car didn't get destroyed. Car obviously got returned to the owners. The gentleman obviously won't be able to work at the valet anymore. But let's just see what kind of charges he got. Hold on.
Here, the car was returned to the owner.
And what was the reaction? I mean, when you guys told the owners of the car what happened?
They said that the owner was absolutely ecstatic.
Meaning the owner didn't even know the car was gone. The owner didn't even know the car was gone. This guy was out there having a ball with that car, and the owner had no idea that the car was gone. All he had to do was slow it down. He could have came right back. He went and got his rallies, went through the drive-thru. See, he didn't even go sit down nowhere. He said, I'm going to go through the drive-thru so they can all see me driving this joint. And he did that. He completed the mission. But then when he came back, they had construction going on. He got rerouted. Once you get rerouted, why are you doing a ball 30 in the wrong direction? Like, you don't know where you at. Anyway. And to get lost in a car that I know has a navigation system in it, that's kind of weird too, but okay. All right.
to hear that his car had been recovered. He was in good spirits about it.
Though the valet driver didn't make it back to work.
So he had the rallies in the car?
Yes.
Did he end up eating his lunch?
He did. The officers gave it to him.
The 19-year-old now has something else to worry about.
Am I getting arrested?
Yeah, you're under. He said, am I getting arrested? Sir, yes. Yes, you are getting arrested. You are not allowed to do what you just did. There's no county in the U.S. where this is an allowable thing that you just did. So yes, you are getting arrested, and that's the end of that. I can't believe even, am I getting arrested? Well, you're in the back of a police car with handcuffs on, so you're definitely looking like you're about to get arrested. All they got to do is close the door, and you have been arrested at that point. So, all right.
Several criminal charges, including...
All right, aggravated speed, reckless operation, failure to show proof of financial responsibility, that's insurance, and receiving stolen property. Okay, well, this one's not going to work. Number 4, F4, receiving stolen property. He had it. It wasn't received, and the person that gave it to him, which was the owner, didn't steal it. So you're not going to get receiving stolen property, and he was a valet, meaning he had a key to it, so you're not going to get stolen anything. You'll get Joyride. That's how it works. When you have the key, however you got it, that's considered joyriding of the vehicle. It's not considered stealing the vehicle because you don't have to damage it to drive it. Okay? So if you have to snatch the ignition out, and I'm not trying to tell y'all to go steal cars, I'm just saying if you got to go through all that, that's a different charge than if you have the key to the car and you just driving it around. So aggravated speed and reckless operation, that just means you were going really fast. And that's about right. You get reckless driving for 20 miles over the speed limit. Most people will do at the most 2 weeks or so in jail for that. As long as they didn't hit anybody or damage any property, you're looking at 2 weeks. So this guy will do about 2 weeks for this crime, so to speak. But here's the thing. At 19 years old, was it worth it? Like, there's a good chance you could have owned a car like that one day. You know, you work your way up from the valet and you get yourself a nice concierge position at the hotel and you work yourself into an assistant manager spot or whatever it is. But you pull yourself up by your bootstraps and you get yourself the same car later. Like, you set it as a goal. But I'm glad he learned that lesson that day, but I'm going to venture to say it wasn't the first time he did it. Anytime you that comfortable to start dropping the top and doing $130 and you went to the rallies like you knew where you was going, I doubt this was the first one. I feel like this was probably the first one he got caught doing, and that was the problem. And somebody probably told him, hey, you know, if you have the key, it's joyriding and not car theft. So, Purple Groovy, for you, I'm going to say, let that be a lesson to the drivers out there. If you give somebody the key and they don't bring the car back, it's not considered stolen because you gave them authority over the vehicle. It's joyriding, and if they destroy it, they're still liable for any financial damages, but it's not the same charge. It isn't. So a valet taking a car is not the same as the dude down the street taking your car. Okay? For those that didn't know. But yes, the good thing he didn't hurt himself. He didn't hurt nobody else. He didn't hurt the car. But the point of the matter is, this was probably the stupidest thing you could do at 19. He had a job. Wasn't the best job in the world, but it was a decent job. And now he's going to have to talk about that. He'll never be able to valet again because they'll look at his record and they're going to see that he stole one of the valet cars. Well, actually, they won't see that. They'll just see aggravated speed, reckless operation, and failure to show proof of financial responsibility. So failure to show proof of insurance, reckless driving, you might get another driving job. You might. Maybe not right away, but you might get another one. So just thought you guys should hear about that. So be careful who you valet your cars with, because some people don't have nothing and they're willing to throw their whole life away just to take your car through a damn rally's drive-through. What a waste. Anyway, next Purge. Let's see what we got here. All right, it just gets worse. Okay, great. So apparently, I don't know if y'all heard about this. This one got brought up and then swept under the rug real quick, but I'm going to bring it up because I told y'all I had a conversation with somebody who told me that I was wrong for calling out Pearl. If you don't know who Pearl is, but I was wrong for calling out Pearl because Pearl said that black people commit all the crime. And I said, no, black people commit all the crime in black areas. And then every once in a while you get some spillover. But the basic premise is you criminalize where you live for the most part. So if you live in a white area, you're going to deal with white people. If you live in a black area, it's going to be black people. But the point is the crime is a mental issue. It doesn't have anything to do with the skin color. That was all I was saying. It has to do with where you at, your economics, the economy, the environment. It takes a lot more than just you were born black, now you're a criminal. Like, it just doesn't work like that. And that was my point. You got to learn that behavior. You have to live into that. You don't just, inherit it per se, But anyway, I don't care. I was right. I know what I'm saying. Because I done met some real dirty people on all sides. That's dirty. Like, they do some diabolical stuff on all sides. So I would be an idiot to just say that one group is committing all the crime. Because I done seen everybody commit crimes. So anyway, so Pearl jumped on there and said that, along with this other thing about 50% of black women having herpes, and that was pretty rough. And they've been they're coming for her right now. She'll probably get canceled soon because she's going to get pissed, start talking about black fatigue again. Like, come on, lady, you grew up with a nanny. Stop. We don't need you to help with black issues. I'm going to be honest, we don't. We need black people to help with black issues. We don't need Pearl, whatever her last name is, to come and start a freaking school, start a higher learning fucking dance school or something. We don't need any of that. So she can just go do something different. Nobody's going to be upset about it. And I would suggest that she does it. But this plot, this is an interesting one, okay? So on this next piece here, some gentlemen, looks like from DC, or at least they were going to ensnare the DC homeless people. Okay. Interesting. So this says elaborate plot ensnares DC homeless people. Did you guys hear about this shit? Purple Groovy said Pearl needs to be quiet. Yes, Pearl needs to be quiet. I respect Pearl. Don't get me wrong. I respect what she's doing, or what she's done more so than what she's doing, but what she was doing previously, right? So I respect that. But then she went a little bit too hard, and then it was kind of like, well, who are you? Like, you made all your money off of these other people, and you haven't fixed shit. But your income, and you done had millions of people walking around you, and you saying you're here to fix society and all this kind of stuff, and you're not here to fix society, you're here to grift, and we understand that. But don't get on some black people commit all the crimes bullshit, because I got some. Speaking of which, I'm going to say it one more time. Speaking of which, these gentlemen decided that they were going to, basically, they were going to take over a whole island. This is what, yes. And I'll let you decide the race of these folks. But the point isn't the race. The point is the thought and the idea that they had in their head that they were going to take over a whole island full of people with the homeless people. But let me just let them say their own freaking story, okay? I'll let them say their own story, all right? Jeez. Oh, it's just me over here. No, we're going to have to transition again. Okay. For some reason, it's only showing me. I needed to show more than me. Let's try this way. Hold on. Let's bring the camera back full one more time. There we go. Oh, there it went. Okay. And then we're going to go one more time. All right. Cool. So check this out.
Miller, we want to warn you that this next story We want to warn you that this next story contains details that are rather disturbing and may not be appropriate for young audiences.
Really?
2 Texas men have been charged in connection with allegedly plotting to invade a Haitian island, murdering the men there, using the women and children as sex slaves. Authorities say that the 2 were also planning to recruit people experiencing homelessness here in the district to help them with their plot. And there's also an alleged connection to Joint Base Andrews right here at home. John Duran has been looking over all of these court documents all day long. John, no doubt some very wild and rather disturbing allegations there.
Yeah, serious allegations, Larry. 21-year-old Gavin Weisenberg and 20-year-old Tanner Thomas are facing federal charges, including
Gavin and Tanner. Gavin and Tanner plotted this, okay? Gavin and Tanner got together and plotted this.
Facing federal charges, including conspiracy to murder, maim, or kidnap in a foreign country. If convicted, that carries a sentence up to life in prison.
The U.S. Attorney's Office out of Texas's Eastern District says over the course of about a year, Tanner Thomas and Gavin Weisenberg plan to invade Gonave Island, a territory of the Republic of Haiti. Court documents filed Thursday show Thomas and Weisenberg allegedly plan to take the...
I feel like they wouldn't have been scared of them when they got there, but let's see where the story goes. Because these guys don't look like they really going to do that serious. That's why they needed the homeless people. Homeless people be scary sometimes. But these 2 guys, like, this is as hard as his face gets. Pause. But that's as rugged as this guy on the left gets. He's got a freaking beauty mark on his chin. You don't get to take over nothing, bro. You don't take over nothing. I kind of wish this would have happened, and then the story would have been they showed up to try to take something over and learned a lesson that day. Purple Groovy's like, yo, what the hell? Yes, these gentlemen plotted to take over an entire island, take out the men, and R-word the women. That's what they were planning together. Tanner and Gavin came together with this idea. Anyway.
Thomas and Weisenberg allegedly plan to take the island by force, murder all the men on the island, which has a population of about 87,000 people, and carry out their rape fantasies by turning the remaining women and children into sex slaves. Investigators say the 2 plan to buy a sailboat to travel from the United States to Gonave Island. They also plan to purchase military-style rifles to use in their coup. According to court documents, in January of this year, Thomas enlisted in the Air Force to gain military training to help carry out the attack.
Oh, my God.
Officials say in February 2025, while in basic training, Thomas had himself reassigned from Ramstein Air Base in Germany to Joint Base Andrews here in Prince George's County. Court documents say he did this to be closer to D.C., so he could allegedly recruit people experiencing homelessness to be part of their plot.
There's so much thought in this. There's so much thought in this. But this guy went to the military so they would train him to fly planes so that he could sail a boat to take over an island. The amount of thought that went into this, I'm impressed. I'm not going to lie. I'm a little bit impressed. Not overly impressed, don't get it wrong, but just a little bit impressed at the amount of thinking that went into this. This guy said, okay, I can't do this by myself. I need to get my boy. And we got to take on 87,000 people, okay? So we're going to need some of these panhandlers in D.C. So in order to get to D.C., I got to go to the military. He enlisted in the whole military. Like, you know you're going to be in there for a few years, right? Before you get to go take over this island. But anyway, for the thought process alone and the fact that he put this much effort into it, he will get the applause. Okay? All right. I did it. I found a way to give them an applause. Now, enough. So let's continue the story.
In August 2024, Weisenberg allegedly enrolled in the North Texas Fire Academy to get trained in command and control protocols. Court documents show Weisenberg failed out of the academy in February 2025. Afterwards, Weisenberg allegedly traveled to Thailand to enroll in sailing school, but didn't follow through with it because the training was too expensive. Investigators say the 2 suspects also studied Haitian Creole to help facilitate their armed coup plot.
On top of those allegations, federal prosecutors allege at some point during their plan to overthrow Gonave Island, Thomas and Weisenberg also coerced a minor to be in a child pornography that they filmed. They face 15 to 30 years in prison if convicted of that offense.
Bury them under the jail. We have no need for them anymore. They committed child acts. I can't even say that stuff no more. They committed child acts. They were going to take over an entire island and May the men and Ray the women. This was a plot that they came up with. They went and tried to get trained. They went and tried to learn how to sail, how to fly. Like, they put so much thought into this. My question is, how did they even get to this idea? Like, if one of my homeboys came to me and said, bro, I got an idea. How about we take over this island and procreate with all of the women forcibly and create our own society out in this island? I would punch them in the throat and say, never speak to me again. But Gavin or Tanner, I don't remember which one is which, said, you know what? I was thinking the same thing. And I just needed somebody who was down, bro. I just needed somebody who was down. So the two of them are looking at 30 years in jail. Now, that's not the usual suspects, but the question is that the usual suspects? Yes. You know why? Because they got something wrong with their head. And that's what makes them bad. Not this lily white skin they have. The fact that they can't think right is the problem. And I doubt that that has something to do with the fact that they're white. That's why I was trying to tell people. If we only looking at races, we missing everything. This guy was going to Thailand. He was getting trained in the military. He was hopping all around getting training, and no red flags went up. And somebody was like, hey, why is this guy doing all of this? Now, to a degree, I believe some red flags did go up. And they were like, why is this guy doing it? And that's how they tracked down the entire plot. But they trained them. We trained them. Let me say it that way. We trained them to be able to go somehow take over an island. They didn't do it. They didn't get there to do it, but they were planning on doing so. They had military style things, rifles, explosives. They even learned how to speak a foreign language in order to better assist them at taking over. So like I said, we're not talking about weak-minded people here. The aviation training ain't easy. Let's start there. Learning to speak Creole, that's not easy. So they weren't looking for an easy way out. They were definitely looking to put in some work. But they just put the work in the wrong direction, like many criminal people. It's not that they're stupid. They just got their mind twisted up and they go do stuff that is really counterproductive for society and for some reason makes sense to them, and we can't make sense of that. And that's the problem. That's why it don't make sense to us. It doesn't make sense to me to talk to my boy about taking over a country. Like rent is coming up. You know what I'm saying? So we're not going to talk about that. What are you talking about? Get out. But these two wrote it down, enlisted in militaries. They really were serious about it. And I must say the dedication itself seems like it's admirable. But I do wonder which one of these was the leader. I believe the guy on the left was the leader. This is your Kaiser Soze over here. It looks kind of like he's harmless, but this is the one that's the most diabolical. This other one was the muscle. He was the muscle. So, yeah, Purple Groovy, that was a plan. They were going to take that place over. And they were going to take out almost 90,000 people. Now, first of all, it would be pretty hard to take out 90,000 people. Or let's just say 40,000 of that 90,000, because once you take out 40,000 people, the other 50,000 are going to be like, yo, I don't want none of that. So you'll be good. But you're going to have to take out like 40,000 people. I don't think they were ready for all that. I think they were thinking about it, but I just don't think they were ready for it. But that's the bullshit. So this is the face of black people committing crimes. Black people commit all the crimes, right, Pearl? Here we go. These guys are going to take over a whole damn island. That's who you need to be worried about. Old nanny raised ass talking about black people commit all the crimes. We don't take over islands. We don't even think about that. And slaughter the people and R-word the women. Like, that's y'all stuff. So you need to go talk to your folks about that. Tell them stop thinking about things like that. That time period is over with. It is not going to be accepted anymore, okay? Jeez. All right, next purge. Let's see what we got here. Jeez, that's just bad. That's just bad. All right, so the next one We only got a couple left. I'm doing, like I said, I was doing beta testing tonight because I need this to start showing up on the other forums again, but it's not working. So I can't find my other transition. I'm gonna have to locate it. And I can't get this thing to do what I want it to do because I don't like the tube of Eunice anymore. I argue with them too much, like an ex-girlfriend who you don't want around, but for some reason she's still connected to your joint bank account, making charges and stuff, and you can't get rid of her, like you can't close the account. That's how YouTube feels. It's like an ex-girlfriend that still has access to your bank account. And you can't close the account because they won't let you close the account without the ex-girlfriend's signature. So it's like you're stuck with this account that both of y'all still have access to. It's got all of the good APR rates and stuff like that, but you don't want to put no money in because you already know they're going to take it. I know that's a crazy ass metaphor, but that's really how I feel right now. I'm going to argue with them people for the last month and a half. All right, so let's see what we got here. This is a standing your ground one. Let's see. That means somebody got hurt or arrested. So it says when standing your ground goes wrong. Let's see what that means. Let's see. Oh, and while we're waiting, make sure that y'all go ahead and hit that like and subscribe. And make sure that you check out Flewte.com. That's Flewte.com. Download the Flewte app so you can meet me over there on Flewte. Or you can check us out on Discord as well. Or you can check out our merch on freemanservices.org. That's FREEMANSVCS.org. Make sure you check it out. Make sure you support what we're actually doing outside of this podcast. The podcast is fun, but this is just the talk. And we ain't about talk. We about action over here. So we have to commit action as well. All right, so anyway. Standing your ground goes wrong. Let's see where this one goes. Because the last time I did a standing your ground one, some kid had broken into somebody's house and the homeowner didn't like it and took him out. And then their family was upset at the homeowner because the homeowner didn't get charges for it. And they were like, you didn't have to do that. And they were like, I'm kind of like, well, they did break into the person's house and he had no idea they were about to break in. So he did what anybody would do in a situation where somebody breaks in their house and you took a couple of shots at them and they connected. I don't know why people were so mad. Anyway, let's check this out. Excuse me. All right. 103. Okay, this is good. So this is a 7-Eleven clerk who apparently shot an attacker and got fired for it. Let's see what the story's about.
Tonight, we are hearing from a 7-Eleven clerk who shot a suspect in the stomach after police say he attacked her over a counterfeit bill. Fox 25's Rob Hagan joins us live tonight. Rob, I hear she just got some news from 7-Eleven.
That's right, Wendy. Good evening. Now, Stephanie Dilliard says 7-Eleven corporate called her today and fired her for using her own gun in self-defense.
Oh.
They say it's against company policy.
Right there's where she messed up. So we're going to see where this goes. But you cannot bring your own weapon to work. When you bring a gun to work, and that's apparently what she did, you can't do that. So, unfortunately, 7-Eleven probably should have provided her some type of protection. If you work at 7-Eleven, you are liable to getting robbed by anybody, black, white, anybody broke will come and rob a 7-Eleven. So I see what she was trying to do. She was trying to protect herself, and obviously she needed to because that's what happened. But 7-Eleven does not allow you to bring your own. It's not bring your gun to work day, any day at 7-Eleven. All right. Well, she messed up in the first 30 seconds of the story, but we'll see where it goes.
Own gun in self-defense. They say it's against company policy.
Mm-hmm.
She says she's lucky to be alive.
Both true.
25-year-old Stephanie Dilliard was a 7-Eleven clerk who faced terror after she says a man tried to strangle her after she refused a counterfeit $100 bill for burritos, beef sticks, and ice cream. It happened Thursday, just before midnight.
He threatened me, said that he was going to slice my head off. And then that's when I tried to call the police. Realized he started throwing things at me. Came behind the counter. I tried to run off, but he grabbed his hands around my neck and pushed me out of the counter space. That's when I pulled out my gun.
All right, y'all see my face, right? Because I'm waiting for them to say something about security footage. I haven't been in a 7-Eleven that doesn't have security footage in ever, okay? Out front, they got cameras. At the gas pumps, they got cameras. Inside behind the counters, they got cameras. In the back by where they count the money, where the manager be sitting at, they got cameras. In the back where the police be sitting at, they got cameras there. So I'm waiting for her to say, you can see it on the cameras or something like that. Right now, all we're hearing is her story about a man threw some stuff. He wanted his beef sticks and burritos. And you don't keep no man from his beef stick or his burrito. Now, if a person's really that hungry, maybe you should offer him a donut. Calm him down a little bit. If he starts throwing stuff around, give him a beef patty, damn it. You could have saved a lot of damage if you'd have just gave him a beef patty. I'm not saying that he's entitled to steal, but he was going through a lot. He was using counterfeit money, and he just wanted some beef sticks and beef patties.
The counter space, that's when I pulled out my gun and I shot him.
Police say the suspect, 59-year-old Kenneth Thompson, ran to MacArthur Boulevard and Northwest 34th Street and called 911. Police say Dilliard is protected under Oklahoma's self-defense law, but she says 7-Eleven Human Resources fired her Monday morning for using her own gun.
Said that they were going to separate from employment because of a violation of policy.
Dilliard says she was working by herself from 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. for more than 2 years. On Monday, she still had a scratch on her neck and burns on her finger from
That's from the crack pipe, but continue.
Firing the pistol.
This was a situation where I felt like I was put in a corner between choosing between my job and my life. And
wait. You didn't get to make a choice between your job and your life unless you personally knew that that was against company policy at the time, which it seemed like you were trying to make us believe that it wasn't or that you did not know. But it sounds like you knew you weren't supposed to do that in the first place. Probably had talked to 7-Eleven once or twice and said to them, hey guys, I'm here from 11 p.m. to 7 in the morning. It'd be nice if we had a little weapon around, some police in the parking lot, something like that. 7-Eleven probably said, screw you, you all right, just stay behind the plastic. And she said, screw that, I'm gonna bring my little 9mm. Then this guy comes in. It seems like this guy might have known her. Been there a few times, thought he was gonna pass a $100 bill to her, and she wasn't gonna check it because all he wanted was burritos and beef patties and beef sticks. So like I said, she screwed up in the first 30 seconds of this clip. I want to say, you know, good for you, ma'am. I'm glad that you did not get hurt. That is true. But you can't bring your own weapons. This is not bring your gun to work day, okay? So you're always going to get in trouble for that. Great job on staying alive. But you should have not had your weapon and sued the crap out of 7-Eleven for having you in there from 11 to 7, which is funny, 7-Eleven from 11 to 7. By yourself with no weapons. She looks like a pretty young lady. I mean, she doesn't look tall or big. So most guys, most gentlemen are going to be larger than her. You know what I'm saying? So she's a dainty young lady in the 7-Eleven by herself at night, overnight, and y'all don't provide her with a weapon. She brought her own just in case, and she ended up having to use it. So y'all should have protected her more, but she screwed up. She knew it was against company policy. She brought the gun anyway. You thought we weren't going to catch that shit, though. But continue.
And I'm always going to choose my life because there's people that depend on me. Just I'm going home. You know, that's my goal. I need to be here for my kids.
Thompson was arrested at the hospital and charged with assault and battery, threatening acts of violence, trying to pass a fake bill, and a felony warrant for violating parole. Dilliard hopes this incident serves as a wake-up call so no other clerks get hurt or killed.
I doubt it. That's not going to work. Other clerks are going to get hurt. because now they all know, if they didn't already, that 7-Eleven has a company policy saying that they will not provide weapons and you can't bring your own. So this will continue to happen. As a matter of fact, everybody knows 7-Elevens get robbed. So the best they can do is put up the plastic. That's what I be telling. Put up the plastic and hope for the best. Because if somebody tries to run around the side to the back of the counter, they're going to slip and bust their ass. It's always slippery back there. It's just going to be a problem. So just stay behind the plastic and you'll be safer. But let's just rewind this a little bit. This woman said she has kids, kids, multiple children, that she leaves in the house with somebody, might be her man, who knows, leaves in the house with somebody every night from 11 p.m. till 7 in the morning. I feel like there's some questions that need to be asked here. I want to know where the kids are staying. I want to know how many kids she got and why she got so many kids, and the best she could do at life was the counter at 7-Eleven. She seemed like a smart lady. I don't know. Well, she wasn't that smart because she did violate a known company policy. But it's almost like she knew that this was going to happen. So that's why she had to arm herself. She knew this dude was going to come up there again, or he'd probably been there before, and he was going to come back up there again, and she wasn't going to take that fake bill this time. The last time she took the fake bill and probably got in trouble for it. So this time around, she said, I'm not going to let him get over on the lovely 7-Eleven. And she put her life and her job on the line, and now no longer has her job, but does have her life. So I'll give her a small applause for the fact that she stood up for herself. Okay? All right? But, wait. But the fact that she got fired for bringing her own pistol to work, leaving them kids there all night too. I got questions. I keep telling y'all. She didn't say nothing about no husband or anything about that. My husband was going to come up there or nothing like that. She just mentioned that she has kids and that she works an 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. shift. So who the hell is watching your sleeping babies? But not my responsibility. You notice they didn't interview her at the house either, where the kids are. She's in the middle of a field. At the 7-Eleven she just got fired from. She's probably trespassing. But anyway, let's bring it back. Probably trespassing. That's funny. Get the hell off my property. You're trespassing. I don't know. What do you think, Purple Groovy? You think that was a worthy firing? Like she was worthy of the firing because she brought her pistol to work and ended up having to shoot somebody in the stomach? Which is funny because he left and then he called the police. You imagine trying to rob the place and you end up getting shot and you running, you just botched the robbery. Halfway down the street, bleeding out a little bit. You're like, man, I gotta call the police. This is crazy. That lady was crazy. Who would have known she had a 9mm on her? All right. Let's get to the serious conversation because I only have so much time left anyway. We're about to get out of here. And so we did peruse. We perused Reddit for a little while and X because there was a question that came up because of this Pearl thing. And it wasn't even my fault. I'm not chasing after content creators. I'm just noticing certain things and I make comments on them. But apparently this Pearl thing was like a big thing. I thought it wasn't a big thing, but apparently it was like a big thing. And in the midst of this, I mentioned that Pearl got to have a forum because, in my opinion, she's not a super attractive lady, but she is a lady who's somewhat attractive. And for guys, we don't get the same love for being somewhat attractive. Like if you hot, you hot. If you that dude, you that dude. But if you are, like me, like a mid, you get mid treatment. But for a woman, you're a mid, but you get like 8 level treatment, which is different than a mid. You see what I'm saying? So I believe that gender equality did not exist, right? So I had this whole conversation with somebody, and I said the gender equality didn't exist because of that. So it's not that, how do I explain this? You can't expect the genders to have equal outcomes, is what I'm trying to say. It's not that both are not equally important. Both of them have differences, and those differences can be exploited on opposite sides for whatever reason. So for a guy, if you're tall, you happen to be in a supermarket, anybody in the supermarket has the right to ask you to grab some shit off the top shelf. Regardless of what you may be doing, or you might be busy doing, everyone in the supermarket has the right to ask your tall ass to get that off the top shelf. And you have to do it. You are mandated by God or something. Because you could say, get a step stool, you know, or whatever you want to say, whatever your line is that you would say, but you don't say that. You know what I'm saying? Purple Groovy, are you talking about Pearl? What she said was ugly, and I'm not going to say Pearl is ugly. I'm just saying she's not a dime. She's like a mid. And there's nothing wrong with being a mid, but I'm saying a mid as a woman gets a different outcome than a mid as a man. That was my whole thing. So because of that, I don't believe that there is gender equality. I believe that there are certain things to which each gender is supposed to do. Some traditional roles, if they would say. And we're going to respond certain ways, just like guys, right? And I'm going to say this and then I'm going to play the little thing for you. But just like guys, we have certain things, we got certain lines and stuff, right? Like, we don't dance with each other. When we go out, if we all go out, if guys go out, we do not normally dance with each other. Like, we might dance in a similar area with other people of the opposite sex, but dudes don't just come together in like a dance circle and they're just dancing. You know what I'm saying? So women can do that. And then if a guy comes over and tries to dance with the woman that's like the focal point, he will get beat up by the other women that are there. No, she just wants to dance. She just wants to dance. She doesn't want your toxic masculine energy on her. She just wants to dance. But guys, we don't do that. So it's not equality per se. Each group has certain things that are acceptable, not acceptable, certain criteria that we need to meet in order to be considered successful or beautiful or whatever. So it's not equality, but it doesn't mean that it can't be useful. I don't need my wife to pick up no 100-pound ass nothing because I'm here. So that's not equality. Equality would be, babe, you go pick up that big ass 100-pound whatever that is, and I'm gonna sit here and watch the game because the game is still on. And you want this done now. Since we're being equal, right? There you go, Purple Groovy knows. Guys don't go to the bathroom together, women do. And if guys happen to go to the bathroom at the same time, one of them will use the stall and the other one will use a urinal. And there'd be 18 urinals and 18 stalls. They're like, I don't want to be nowhere near another dude. And you could say it's because people are suppressing homosexuality or whatever, but maybe I just don't want to see furry balls around me. Maybe I don't, you know? It's not about suppressing homosexuality. I just don't want to see that. And people always like, you must be gay. No, you must be. And that's okay. But don't be mad at me because I don't want to be around naked dudes all the time. Like women can do that. Be butt naked in front of each other, you know, showing their titties and stuff. And just, did you see this lump here? You know, like they just be all just open with it. And to some degree, I envy that. But then I'm like, I don't even like any of my friends that much that I want to do that. And I like my friends, but I don't like anybody that much that I want to, you know, I don't know. Anyway, let's get into this whole gender equality thing, because the person that said this very interesting phrase happens to be one of the most misogynistic people I've ever seen in my life, who happens to get canceled on every forum. He gets canceled on every forum. And that person, his name is Andrew Tate. You know who Andrew Tate is? Now, I'm a pause for 1 second because there's some Tate haters. And I'm not a fan of Andrew Tate, but I don't hate Tate, if that makes sense. I don't hate him. I think he's got some wild shit to say, but I also believe he has a right to say wild shit. And if you're going to talk a lot of stuff about being rich and all that, it does help to actually be rich, and he does seem to be that. Nobody's come and said, oh, he's faking. He doesn't own any of this stuff. He's never been a kickboxer. He never did this. It's all a lie. They didn't come with that. They came with he was trafficking women and had them doing OnlyFans. So he was like an OnlyFans pimp. He was a digital pimp, which to me, it's illegal. But if they're going to sell that cooch anyway, you might as well get a cut. Sorry. I know to some people that's heartless, but he set them up correctly. He put them in nice protected spaces. You know, he locked them up behind some shit and had them do their content. So they were protected. They also couldn't escape right away. They had to do their shift. And I think that was part of the problem, was it was very rigid. But nonetheless, let me bring it back to what the whole point of the conversation was, which was this gender equality thing, right? And I got pretty much my head cut off because I said that there isn't gender equality, but that's fine, is what I said. That was my response to it, was no, there's not gender equality, but that's okay. But people didn't like that. That's what you're supposed to be equal, and no, it's not. I'm not giving birth to no babies. You know what I'm saying? It's not equal. People, let's get it together. So anyway, let's see what we got here that Andrew Tate said that pissed everybody off so bad. I don't know. But honestly, he's pissed off so many people. Probably wasn't even that bad. Let's see. Can I get the damn thing? There we go. Let's see if it lets me put it in there. What is gender equality? All right, let me bring it over. Let's see what we got here.
Believe in gender equality?
That's a trick question.
No, it's quite.
It's a trick question. It's fine, sir. It's fine. I've been around the block. That's a trick question. I believe the genders are different but equally important. I believe in equality in importance. I do not believe in equality in capabilities. I do not believe a man can have a baby. I do not believe the average woman can fight combatively against the average man. I believe we're built differently. I believe God has designed us to be different. We are two halves of a whole. And when a woman is feminine and a man is masculine and we work together, we create perfect unity, which is why we're designed to be different. So do I agree in gender equality? Yes. But that term is hijacked. That term is used as a Trojan horse for pretending that all the genders can do the same things. And that's not true. This is what they do in the Western world. They hijack terms. They come along and say, you don't believe in gender equality. I say, yes, I do. I believe we're equally important. No, because you don't believe that a woman can do everything a man can do. No, I don't, because she can't. And a man can't do everything a woman can do. We do different things. So I do believe in gender equality, but I don't believe in the new version of it that they're trying to purport on the populace because it's deliberately used as a weapon.
Okay, well, I guess the question is the current term gender equality hijacked and used as a weapon? That's a really good question. That is a really good question, because I don't think that the initial idea of gender equality had to do with anything physical, really. It had to do with people getting paid the same. It was like getting paid the same for the same job. That was where it all started. You know what I'm saying? Like that was what everybody was talking about so many years ago. It was like if a woman and a man had the same job, the man was getting paid, I think it was 60 cents more on a dollar than the woman was. And that is not fair. So I agree that that's not right. But do I agree that the genders are equal? No. I don't believe that you could fluidly be male and female. I believe that you are one or the other, and you may or may not like it. Simple as that. Does it get hard or does it get wet? Very simple and easy questions that I think people can answer. But if they want to be disingenuous about it, men can do this and women can do anything men can do. No, and absolutely no. Because if a man try to deliver a baby, he's going to have a problem. So I don't even need to go further than that. I don't even need to go further than that. There was a divine design that made it so that women can carry life and birth it. Men cannot do that. We can carry life in the form of, our little guys, but we cannot bake it, you know, and then birth it. So right there is an inequality. And that's why a lot of times when kids grow up and they're like sports stars, the first thing they do is, I want to thank my mama. Meanwhile, their dad was out there throwing the football and shit with them all the time. But because they had to come through mom to become a living being, so to speak, they always want to pay homage to their mother. So I don't know. For me personally, I don't believe that gender equality is a thing. I don't think it should even be a problem. It doesn't really happen. There should be equality of pay. There should be equality of effort and outcome. So if we both put in the same effort and we both get the same outcome, we should get the same pay for whatever that outcome is. I think that's fair. But all this other stuff about men can be women and women can be men and all this other stuff, no. I'm not going to buy it for a second, and I don't want to hear it anymore. I am so tired of the bathroom debate. Bathrooms were fine. I never was in the bathroom and somebody came in the bathroom who was a little sassy, and then they got like beat up by the other guys who were at the urinals in the bathroom. This never happened. So we didn't have to change the bathroom. People hijacked the bathroom. The effeminate males who were trying to be women were the ones that hijacked the bathroom. It wasn't chicks doing it. It wasn't women talking about we want to use the men's room. And most times our lines are shorter. And they were not pressed about coming in our bathrooms. It was the guys, which is why it seemed creepy. Why is it all these guys in there? Why do we keep hearing the same story about young girls and dudes in locker rooms? So is that gender equality? Letting dudes in the bathroom? Like, ew. It doesn't seem very equal to me because it discounts the feelings of the other people that are in there. The feelings of the young ladies that are in there that don't want your furry balls all over the place. You see what I'm saying? So anyway, let's get off of that. Let's get off of that. Purple Groovy said you cannot confuse that. You can't confuse it. Are you this or you that? And if you're this, go over there. And if you're that, go over there. I didn't know it was a big conversation. It became a big conversation. But speaking of big conversations, let's get to the big conversation here. Since we're talking about gender equality and bathrooms and stuff. Because I had an interesting discussion with somebody recently because we were watching, well, not watching, but we were discussing the Real Housewives of Atlanta. And I don't know if you've ever heard of the Real Housewives of Atlanta. I have never actually watched an episode. I've seen a few clips and I've seen like a few, like the cast, but I'm not really super familiar with it. What I am bringing this up for, what brought this whole thing to me is apparently out of the Real Housewives of Atlanta, like 6 or 7 of the 10 couples that they were focused on are getting divorces. And, you know, these are supposed to be people who have money and have nice houses and nice cars and a little bit of prestige and a little bit of popularity because they're on a TV show and all that, and they can't hold it together. Like, I get it, 1 or 2 having an issue, but the greater majority, like nobody can keep it together. Nobody can be on a TV show and keep it together after the show goes off. Is there that much attention coming from the rest of the world? Because that's what it is, if you didn't know. For those that don't know, a lot of times what happens in relationships and the reason why they break up is because the person gets a lot of attention from other people in the world. And if that person is not strong-minded, they get pulled into that. Because if you can't get a hello from the person in your house, but every time you step outside, everybody's saying hello, then you're going to gravitate to outside because that's where you feel more appreciated. So a lot of people don't understand that. They're like, well, he had everything. Why did he do X, Y, Z? Well, did you say hi to him when he came home? Did you acknowledge the person was even there? Or did you just, after a while, you got complacent like most relationships do, and you're just there? And the problem happens when they go back outside and everybody's falling head over heels. And this goes for men and women. This is not just, this is gender equality right here. If you're popular on social media, whether you're male or female, whether you're attractive or not attractive, there is a certain level of popularity that comes along with that. Even this little ass channel, I've bumped into somebody that watches my channel. And I'm like, damn, I didn't even think I was ever going to do that. Honestly, I thought I would never run into anybody outside of family who watched me on YouTube and saw me as a YouTube person versus whoever they know me as personally. And so if even on my little channel they find people, I can imagine if you're on Real Housewives of any place, there's going to be some people that recognize you. So these folks go out into the world, they think they're celebrities, and they get a lot of attention. And attention kills relationships, or it grows relationships. But I'm going to tell you right now, it's so easy when you're in a situation and you're not happy, you're not getting no hellos, you're not getting no sex, you're not getting nothing because you got you a baddie. And she ain't gonna be doing all of that. She ain't gonna be doing all of that stuff. You know what I'm saying? You got you a nice one. You got you a rich baddie. What do you think? She's gonna be cooking all day? You're gonna get a trad wife out of that? No, you're not. You're gonna get somebody that's shopping all the time and on social media and so on and so forth. That's what you get. So I'm not surprised that 7 of these couples filed for divorce. I'm not. But I will say I'm very disappointed because I have been watching the state of affairs when it comes to relationships, and it just don't look good. It just don't look good. I've seen some rich people, they having trouble. Poor people, they have, and matter of fact, the poor ones seem to stick longer. You know, everybody's talking about struggle love and all this kind of stuff. I know, I hate to say it, but I know a homeless couple that's, honestly, they're one of the cutest couples I've ever seen. Be wearing matching homeless clothes and stuff. Like, how they get the holes to match? That's crazy. They got the holes to match right on the elbows. And they literally wear the same, like, homeless clothes. I know y'all think I'm playing. Y'all think I'm playing. No, I'm dead serious. I'm dead serious. And they seem to be sticking it out. It's been a couple of years. They're together all the time, maybe on opposite sides of the intersection when they're panhandling. But they literally stick it out. And they live in some boxes behind one of the local grocery stores. Yes, but they still together. Meanwhile, these rich people, can't hold it together, man. Can't hold it together. Can't go out into the damn public and, like, just live their life, but come out into the public. And that's why I had to have this discussion, because people have been asking me as well, like, why don't you go out to as many events as you used to and all that? Because I don't have time for y'all. I don't. Even if you're not doing something, people are catching the wrong picture or next to the wrong person. It's just so much gray area out there. And that's just the average person. So imagine if you're a social media or TV star. Everywhere you go, somebody's trying to catch you up on something. Everywhere you go, there's a paparazzi type. There's somebody trying to catch you saying something or doing something or whatever. Constant attention. And people OD on attention. That's what happens. They OD on the attention they get, and they just can't stop getting it. So if you're ODing on attention from being in a relationship, what's the next best OD on attention you get once that cools off? It's breaking up the relationship. You see what I'm saying? So you start, they love you, they think, oh my God, they're so cute. They're the cutest couple. Oh my God, every time they're together, it just makes my heart melt and all that. Then 5 years later, whatever, the guy's an asshole, narcissist, control freak, and this woman was kidnapped for 7 years and held under these horrible situations. He stopped me from spending $20,000 on my blue card. And then he asked me, like, why I spent $200 on coffee at Starbucks. Why would he do that? You see what I'm saying? Complacent as shit. You know why he asked you why you spent $200 on Starbucks? Because nobody spends $200 on Starbucks. So who were you there with? Then come to find out you hanging out with this dude and that dude, and oh, he's just a photographer. Oh, he's just a friend, because you got all that attention. Regular people don't have photographer friends. You see what I'm saying? Regular people do not have photographer friends. and a bunch of plutonic friends of the opposite sex. You might have one, maybe two. Maybe two. And there's a good chance that that one or two knows your significant other. If you have a friend, close friend, that's of the opposite sex, they better know your significant other, or you just asking for trouble. You just asking for trouble. That's your gender equality right there. So, I say all that to say, I'm worried about the state of relationships. Over the course of the last year or so, because I've been looking at relationships, I try to stay away from relationship content, because when I really look at it, it's slim pickings out here. Slim pickings. And everybody's up to something. Everybody's got some weird-ass ulterior motive. It doesn't start that way. It's normally that everybody's good, right? But somewhere along the lines, somebody gets propositioned to do something that they normally wouldn't do. They do it and get away with it, and that's what starts the problem. And then they'll start doing it over and over and over again until they get caught. And at that point, they get caught, you get upset, and they decide to file for divorce, and here we go. Instead of taking accountability for your mistake and fixing it, you rather say, I'm going to go over here with this person that we all know is not good for you. We can tell that the situation is bad. I hate to bring it up, but Cardi B is one of those. Everybody's trying to celebrate Cardi B and what she's doing. No, you got a broken-ass household with a broken-ass man that's having sex with women on boats and all. We're not happy for you like they want us to be. We're happy that you're alive. We're happy that you're successful. But we're not happy that your family broke up. We're not happy that you got a divorce. You see what I'm saying? Like, stop doing that to us, media. The media does that. They make us think that we're happy that people are getting. Why are you happy that somebody else couldn't do it? Why are you happy that somebody's family fell apart? Why is that making you satisfied? You see what I'm saying? So they love to tell us that these are like celebratable things. When you have children outside of wedlock, you know, this is not celebratable. Like, granted, yes, the child is life, and life is a blessing. Not taking away from that. I'm just saying, you that did that were not putting yourself in the best position. And nobody wants to take accountability for that. And then years later, they're wondering why no families are really together. Plenty of kids all over the fucking place. Not too many mommies and daddies in the same house, though. How did that happen? It's because of attention. They got attention elsewhere, or a person wasn't saying hi. I know it sounds like a minimal thing, but imagine coming home to somebody every day and they can't even say hello. Like you paying your bills or whatever, you taking care of your business. But you come in and it's just old hat. I don't care that you're here. I'm not even going to say hi to you. I hope these bills is paid. Other than that, leave me alone. And I'm going to go disappear for 3 or 4 days. And you better make sure this house is clean when I get back. That's how some people get. Screwed up in the head, think they can't change nothing. They get all this attention from outside of their own current relationship. And before you know it, we got 7 out of 10 couples that were at least happily married when the show started getting divorced by the end of the show. So doesn't matter if you got money. Doesn't matter if you live in a nice area. Doesn't matter if you have a TV show or you're a social media influencer. What matters is your mentality, your morality, your stick and stay, your personal, internal, how you feel about yourself and your family. And honestly, it seems like the more people get money, the less they have a moral compass. That's why everybody's worried about the Epstein shit. And I'm telling you right now, they'll wait till after Christmas. Right around the first of the year, you're going to actually get some Epstein. They're not going to destroy somebody's Christmas with Epstein right now, because they would destroy somebody's Christmas with this. Somebody's Christmas would get destroyed by Epstein information right now. So they're not going to do that. So just hold your horses, as they would say. But the point I'm trying to make is, this is the world we live in. People get money, they can't hold it together. They can't. Half of the rich people, or at least the rich rapper types, are talking about broke nigga shit. Like, you don't even live in these areas anymore. Why are you talking about hand-to-hand drug sales on the corner in present terms? Not something you used to do before you rapped, or no, you're telling me that right now, that you wake up at 5 a.m. and you go hand-to-hand drug deal on the hottest block of your city. That's bullshit. Because everybody would recognize you and be like, oh my God, it's such and such. And you wouldn't be able to sell shit. So there's no way you're doing that. But we'll sit there and believe it for a second, and then we'll sit there and support you having 10 different baby mamas and broken homes and some more shit. And then when somebody else gets a divorce, we're happy about that. We don't want relationships. And it's not just a black thing. This is all over the place. We love it when some woman divorces a guy and gets $20 million and like kills his entire financial future. That shit like feels good to people, man. We sick. That's all it is. Something sick in the head. And because of that, we're always looking for validation and attention outside of who we actually are. And if we could just be real with ourselves about who we actually are, I think all of us would benefit from that. Honesty is the best policy, but it's only the best policy when you're honest with yourself first. You can be honest with everybody else and lie to yourself, and it doesn't help because you're lying to yourself. And once you lie to yourself, you can lie to anybody else and believe it. So if you believe it, like if you really truly believe something, it may not be correct, but you believe it. So to you, it's true. So you can walk around the whole rest of your life believing some untrue shit. And that's what I think we've done. I think we have programmed our children to walk around the planet, and not just our children, but our generation as well, to walk around this planet and just believe some untrue shit. We got Pearl walking around believing some untrue shit. We got a lot of content creators believing some untrue shit because they done got statistics. What about the world you live in? Fuck a statistic. What about that guy over there? You see what I'm saying? What about this place that we're in right now presently? Forget the statistics of what happened in Detroit. I don't live in Detroit. So I'm not saying I don't care about Detroit. What I'm saying is I'm not using Detroit statistics to make my point in Tennessee. You see what I'm saying? And I'm not going to be in Chattanooga, Tennessee, trying to make points about Nashville. Keep it local, keep it real, and keep it accountable. But if you're not part of a particular culture, no, you shouldn't really be speaking on it all the time. You may be able to notice a certain stat, but you should not make your entire content. Imagine if all my content was just talking about bad white people. Like if I picked a couple of bad white ones, you know, some Nick Fuentes's and a couple of those folks, and just constantly talk shit about them. Oh yeah, I would blow up. People would love that because there's plenty of people that love that negativity. But that's stupid to me. Because I don't believe that Nick Fuentes is going to change anything in the black community. So he doesn't help or harm me at all. And most of the people that are the ones that need to learn and need to grow up and be better are not watching his shit. You know what I'm saying? They're not even affected by it because they don't even know who he is. Just like when Charlie Kirk's situation happened, half of them Negroes didn't even know who Charlie Kirk was. And then jumped up there trying to make fun of him because he died. Y'all stupid. That was dumb. So if we can start to just be honest about what's really smart, what's really dumb, what's really going on, the fact that we're all just so attention starved when it comes to social media. It's like if nobody checks on you on social media, it's like nobody ever checked on you. But check your phone. People do care about you. But if you constantly being entertained and you're never the entertainer, then eventually they're going to get rid of you. And that's what happened on Real Housewives of Atlanta. So don't go on that show if you're planning on having a long-lasting, loving relationship. So let me go ahead and get this thing done. I believe that we are done because I know social media is the detriment of the modern day relationship. Spending too much time on social media is the detriment of the modern day relationship. Commenting too much, activity logs. There's all types of shit between Facebook and everything else that's really meant to destroy relationships. Even the advertisements you see. Like Facebook knows that a guy is married because they got like the Facebook thing. Why are they sending him bots showing OnlyFans pictures? You see what I'm saying, right? Okay. As long as y'all understand. He's never searched this content. He doesn't have any OnlyFans subscriptions. There's no reason for them to believe that this is that person other than the fact that the guy's married. You see what I'm saying? But they will feed that content at him because they like, yeah, we know he ain't getting no booty. So they will send that your way with the hope that you'll be pulled into it because of what they think relationships are. This shit is diabolical, man. And y'all need to watch out. Y'all need to pay attention. But special shouts, Purple Groovy, you stayed with me the whole time. Appreciate you. I was trying to get everybody on tonight, but it's cool. Everybody's moving around and stuff today. There's a lot going on. But I make sure I show up so that the algorithm knows I'm still around. But really, I'm just here to bring everybody over to our other platforms. And once I'm satisfied with when everybody's there, then YouTube can kiss all sides of my ass, especially the crack. Because they have driven me 100% crazy. And I wish I could talk to a human. Let me just say that. Because they be on some BS. They be on some BS. More so than the other ones. But anyway, Purple Groovy, thank you so much for coming through and hanging out with us. And let me give a couple of quick shouts over here. Of course, IMZ, who was helping me out with my sound issues earlier. And let's see who else we had in here. Nobody else in here who was talking. But anybody else who was on the sidelines there, this applause is for you. And by the time Tuesday come around, I'm going to figure out how to have this stream on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, X, and what's the last one? I don't know, but that's enough right there. Instagram. So Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, X, and Twitch. That's 5 of them. So by Tuesday, the goal is to have 5 forums able to push this content. Because I am going to tell you right now, if I could fully expose that which I've been exposed to after the monetization of this channel, I would tell you without any buttering of it, this YouTube thing is some bullshit. But similar to the lottery, you can still win it. See what I'm saying? But you can play the lottery for 20 years and never win it. Or you can play it once and win it. The only way to actually win it, though, is to play. So the carrot in front of your face is how they keep a lot of content creators on there. Not me, though. I got shit to do. You know what I'm saying? You ain't going to pull a fast one on me. So anyway, Tuesday, we're going to do nighttime shows because I got a new contract, so my schedule will change. So nighttime shows, everything's going to be 9, 9:30, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays coming up. So I want everybody to start bringing you folks. We're going to have the nighttime show. I'm going to put the phone number up on the top for anybody that wants to call in with a comment, or if they want to purge their own BS, or if they want themselves to be purged. Some people like pain, so they can show up for the smoke show too. And we'll make sure that they have a place to be smoked. Okay? So that's all starting next week and going into the new year as we start our migration into new forums. And I'm telling y'all right now, do not forget, go to the Google App Store or the Apple Store, depending on what you have, or the internet, and go to Flewte.com, Flewte.com, or go to either one of those stores and just type in Flewte, and you'll see the logo. It's like a cursive F by itself. Very easy to recognize. That is where I can post all the content from this YouTube thing, and they don't bother me at all. You know why they don't bother me at all? Because there's actually humans reviewing the content. Actual humans on the site, no bots, just actual people. And I never knew how much of a refreshing space that would be until I started to realize what was going on with Facebook and Instagram. When you go through your scroll, you'll see hella sponsored feeds. You don't even see much from the people you know anymore. It's all advertising now. You see what I'm saying? So over on Flewte, Flewte, because it's growing and building, it's not filled with bots or any of that kind of stuff. As a matter of fact, it's a botless, at this time, it's known as a botless social platform. It's only real people. So make sure y'all check that out. Make sure y'all come back here on Tuesday, because if you are not here on Tuesday, and I do not see you when I come here Tuesday, then that, my friends, is the bullshit. And we out. Peace. What's that? Y'all ready? Okay, we out of here then. Purple Groovy! Stuck with me all night, Purple Groovy. Thank you. I'll see you on Tuesday.